It is the offseason for the Detroit Lions, which means more rumors. And Aidan Hutchinson went on Taylor Lautner's podcast and spoke about the possibility of adding Myles Garrett. Now, if you guys remember, he spoke about it before. In his response, it was kind of partially off the record. Like, he talked to a media member. I think it was from the Detroit News or the Free Press. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might have been Dave Burkett. But he said, well, can you even have that much talent on a D-line? And everyone was like, well, that was kind of a weird response. I mean, wouldn't you be all on board for trading for Myles Garrett? It probably wasn't anything, ill intent or Aidan Hutchinson trying to push away the idea of acquiring Myles Garrett. But it was after, Amon-Ra St. Brown talking about wanting Myles Garrett. It was like, oh, okay. Well, he spoke about it again and had a very different answer, more thorough. Obviously, he's on a podcast now, so he was able to speak more on it. He didn't have the full context of that quote when he was addressing Myles Garrett the first time, but we did see the photo of Jared Goff and Aidan Hutchinson talking to Myles Garrett at the NFL Awards, having a conversation. And now you get context of that conversation right here. So let's listen to this clip. This is Aidan Hutchinson speaking about potentially adding Myles Garrett. Let's take a listen.
Free agents out there that you wouldn't mind seeing in Detroit next year. I did see a photo of you talking to Myles Garrett.
That's right.
NFL honors.
That's right. Hey, I mean, Myles, if me and Myles were to pair up, that would be deadly.
I don't know if you've seen anything like it.
I know. I was talking to him. We were at the honors, and we were just talking about what could be, and although it's probably unlikely, I think I would be thrilled to play next to him if it were to happen. But yeah, I mean, our whole D line would be like just totally elevated, and that'd be a scary defensive line. And we get along too. I think I've seen him these last few years at different things. He texted me after I got hurt, which I don't know, it was just a cool thing. Like guys outside of your own team who reach out to you, I think. So I think he's a good dude. And if he does, great. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But that would be awesome.
That would be great.
I love that. And now is it Aidan Hutchinson's job to manage the cap? No. So he has to say, well, it might not be realistic, which I understand. He's kind of leaving the door open a little bit. Like, hey, if you want to get Myles Garrett, go ahead. But this is what I find very interesting. And most of the people that watch this, maybe you're just an NFL fan, but you're fans of all sports. You see this a lot in the NBA. When players have relationships, it dictates where players are going to go. Now, you might say, well, Jeff, the Cleveland Browns hold essentially all the leverage. I don't know about that because Myles Garrett is a big-time name, and he's the one that requested the trade. And he can say publicly, wherever I go, it better be the teams I want, or else there's going to be issues. Refusing to play is one thing, but, I won't sign an extension, or he can threaten things to make teams shy away from trading for him. That can happen. So players always have some sort of leverage. When Aidan and Myles are communicating, and I didn't even know he texted Aidan after he got injured. I think that's very significant. But the fact that Aidan and Myles have had conversations about playing together, I think is significant because when the Browns ultimately decide to trade him, or at least have more conversations with them about, trading him and what it looks like, just having that little nugget in Myles Garrett's head, talking to Aidan, having that relationship, wanting to go to a team that's right there on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl, the Lions make a ton of sense. And this helps. Recruiting is everything. I mean, people want to understand that, especially in sports. I mean, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown talking to Darius Slay on his podcast. It dropped today, and he's telling Darius Slay to come to Detroit. Now, does Amon-Ra, is he in charge of making those decisions? No, but he's recruiting. That's what I love to see. And Aidan's doing that as well, even though he said it's not, maybe not realistic. He's doing it. And Jared was with him too, talking to Myles Garrett. The thought of playing together, those two playing together, that's what's going to put you over the top. I think this team's already very good. And there is a lot of his contract is complex. And shout out to Morgan Cannon and Miko from Pride of Detroit. They broke down the contract in depth on Pride of Detroit. And they talked a lot about how if you were going to acquire him, you'd have to, it would be a restructure. You'd have to figure some things out there, which of course that's a contingency. You have to figure out the contract because it is a complex contract. The Browns, all the hoops the Browns jump through for his contract. It's a very complex contract, but again, 2 years left. if they can figure it out, restructure it, I think, at least me, I don't know where you guys are at, I'm all for trading away first-round picks for this man. And I think the players would as well. They don't really care about the draft picks. I mean, they're thinking about playing with the best defensive player in the NFL. So it's awesome. Love to see this. Love that Aidan's talking to him, or has been talking to him ever since he got hurt. And they're kind of developing a relationship, because that's what you want when the Browns end up having these discussions with Myles Garrett. You want the little nuggets to be placed. So when Myles Garrett's talking about preferred destinations, Detroit pops up. And there's been rumors that the Detroit Lions have already called the Browns. I can't confirm that. I don't know where. I've seen it from different outlets, one outlet specifically. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I will say is there is no doubt in my mind that Brad will, at some point, if he hasn't already, make the call and at least gauge interest there, see what it would look like. What do you guys make of the clip? Aidan recruiting and just the relationship they've developed. I think it's very interesting. Comment down below, leave your thoughts, and check out the live show tonight, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Booner and Lukas will be holding it down, but until then, I will catch you all. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested, or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.